welcome to Level 1 Restoration Behind the Scenes. We're out here in the alley today with a preservation car. So we do a lot of cars that we just clean up in detail because they're original survivor cars. And that's what we have here today, this 1977 Special Edition Trans Am, or widely known as a Bandit Trans Am. So it's a 404-speed 77 with 6,638 miles on the car. This car has original tires, paint, upholstery, you name it. It's incredible. Very nice survivor. We're going to take this to the 2024 Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, and we're going to enter it into vintage certification. And in vintage certification, they will just judge the car for how original it is. And they have a lot of cars this nice will get an award they call the Legend Award. So it's like 90% original in all areas. There is an award called a time capsule, and the car has to be 95% original in all areas. So really, if you're missing a battery and tires, you're not going to get that very top time capsule award. We have had 3 cars go through here that have gotten the time capsule award. This car is a contender for that, but is really tough. So we're pretty confident in the Legend Award status, and maybe maybe we could achieve that time capsule. It does have its original tires, like I mentioned, so it's a possibility. I've gone around this whole entire car and checked the paint depth with a paint gauge. And it measures out to be original paint, so I have no doubt that it has original paint. And maybe in a later video, or we might add some photos of this car to show the underneath of this car, which we're not going to be able to do today. But it's incredible underneath. All of its paint marks and all the bare metal items with just a light surface coat of rust on them. Really incredible. We bought this car from our friend Dave Hall over at Restore Muscle Car earlier this year. I got my customer, he wanted to collect some of these later model Trans Am. Phil Mitchell, great customer. We decided that on these newer cars, we wanted only survivors, because this car might be an exception to that, but typically these cars wouldn't be worth enough money to do a full frame-off restoration on, because when you buy it in the first place, it's pretty expensive. And then if you rack up, 6-figure money restoring them, you'd have to be careful. But these cars in particular have been bringing, really quite a lot of money. So, but we stuck to our plan, and we found this beautiful Survivor. We have a beautiful 79 10th anniversary Trans Am Survivor as well, and we still need to plug a 78 Special Edition 4-speed, something along those lines, in for our 78 car. But we're gonna, walk around this car and have a look at it. We're even gonna take this one on a quick drive. All right, let's have a look under the hood of here. So this is really an amazing car. Under the hood here, there are a couple of things. We've had some, the hose and the clamp have been changed. We have some originals we're gonna put back on this car. I think, I would just, anytime people have like a car that came out of a garage or a barn, and they think that the best thing they should do is change all the belts and hoses and the shocks and the springs, and that's the worst thing for us for what we're doing with these cars. I think it would always be best, if your plan is to sell it, is to leave it all original. And then if that person plans on driving it, that's fine, then they can go ahead and do all those changes. But I really hate to have to do this work now around such a nice car. But a couple of neat things here under the hood of one of these cars. This is the original air intake tube. Is a really special part. The new old stock ones are expensive, and you rarely see those. On the higher horsepower engines, they had the chrome valve covers, so that's a quick indication that this is in 77. It would be the 200 horsepower engine. 77, they change it to a 220 horse. That's a, you know, a net rating, of course. These cars could maybe run a high 14, which is pretty good for, you know, the era. And they're certainly really fun to drive. Okay, a couple of pretty interesting things in the trunk compartment here. You know, when you're restoring one of these, there are some available new old stock trunk mats, but of course the aftermarket stuff is good, but it's never perfect. This one I don't think has ever been out of the car. The spare, the jack base, you can see has never been scratched up or on the ground, and the inflator bottles up in there. Here are the Hearst hatch bags, or the covers for when you take them out. You put them in these covers. And this is a really cool thing here. We have because these are Hearst hatches, and later in '77 they had a Fisher T-top, which they were a little bit larger, and they were literally put in at the Fisher body plant. They wouldn't have had this, but this is what they cut away from the roof. This is the headliner material. So it's pretty neat that it's still in the car here. I guess that's how they would have handled it when it was done, and whoever the original owner of this car was pretty cool just to keep that as a neat item. I doubt if there was ever any luggage or any parts or anything in the trunk of this car, because with the 6,000 miles, it was always something special to somebody. Radio. So this has an Audio Vox cassette player, and we will put the radio delete plate back in this car, so it's just like it was the day it rolled off the showroom floor. I kind of skipped over it because I assumed most of our viewers know these cars pretty well, but a '77 Special Edition Trans Am, or a 6 or a 8 or a 9, they had different logos and more pinstriping, and like the gold wheels and the gold dash treatment, and they had a lot of special things about them that added to the package, which really set them apart from just a regular black Trans Am, which there was a lot of those running around at this time period as well. But this car is so nice, I don't think we can go without taking it for a drive. So we're going to take this car around the block, and hopefully you would be able to you know, get the impression of how smooth and nice and quiet a brand new Trans Am was back in 1977. I don't really know the last time this car got exercised, but we're getting her up to temperature here, and that's good for it. We really appreciate your watching. Please subscribe and share this, and we hope you like this video.